If you're dating a man and you have to build him up from scratch into the man that you want him to be, he is not your person. It's never your job to force him to do the inner work or to become better. It's not your job to fix all his problems. You're not responsible for his insecurity, his lack of drive, lack of goals in life, lack of direction. So if you're telling yourself that he is great and you have this wonderful connection, but he's just not there yet, whether it's spiritually, financially, career, business-wise, he's going to pull you down into that low value energy.
Give me some money. Give me some money.
So in other words, if you have a man that's treating you with respect and dignity, but he isn't rich, then he's a broken man with no drive in life. I'm not putting words in your mouth, lady. You said it yourself. You mentioned 4 problems. 3 of which have to do with money, and 1 reason having to do with new age dog hockey, just so you can try and make yourself look like you're the one with the stronger sense of intellect. The only problem is you're not capable of being an intellectual. That requires the capacity for basic thought. You want to reap the benefits of a man's labor, but you don't want to put in the support required to be worthy of that benefit. You just want it to come to you as you wait at the finish line. Again, you said it yourself. You're not referring to this guy as your man or your boyfriend or husband. You refer to him as your person, as if he's a commodity to be owned by you. He's not your person. He is a man. And if you refuse to recognize something as simple as that, then you don't deserve to be his woman.
And what's going to happen is you're going to be exhausted from trying to fix him and from doing so much for him. You're not going to have a partner. You're going to have a project. The other problem with this is that a man like this is not going to allow you to be in your feminine energy, to be in the full expression of your womanhood. You won't be able to relax, to feel free, to feel safe as a woman, because you're not going to feel that he's going to be able to take care of you. And this is going to lead to a lot of resentment. So choose a partner who is on the same level as you. Don't choose a project.
Whatever you say. How much you cost, anyway?
Well, ain't that a nice way to talk to a lady?
Oh, I didn't know I was talking to a lady.
Oh, come on, lady. We all know what you're talking about. We all know you're scam, and you're not that clever. When you say a man should be putting in the work to quote-unquote fix himself, what you really mean is that he should be at the finishing stages of building a multi-million-dollar company, and you come in at the last minute to make him a breakfast of lukewarm coffee and overcooked eggs to show that you're a submissive feminine woman. But self-respecting men see right through that. It's not that difficult because you possess the subtlety of a high school kegger. You've made it perfectly clear that your loyalty and submission comes with a monetary price tag, while that man's loyalty, kindness, and respect mean absolutely nothing unless he has the bankroll to back it up. And that's why any average man that treats you decently will automatically become a broken, traumatized little serf, while you're the one who apparently fixed your brain with a combination of duct tape and bubble wrap and deserves a wealthy man because you're over the age of 30 and you won't be able to retire because of your spending habits, which is just another reason in the infinite laundry list of reasons why self-respecting men want nothing to do with you.
I want to party with rich people.
This one's for the single guys. I want your opinion on something. I want to hear your honest thoughts about dating a single mom. I'm asking because one of the guys I dated after my divorce said something, and those words have stuck with me. He told me, "You have 3 kids. No one is going to want to take you on." And let me tell you, no matter how awesome you are, those words stick. But I want to know, what do you really think about that? Does their age matter? Younger, older? I mean, it's not like I can change that. We're kind of a package deal.
Good, but I would say it's horrible yet terrible. Ugly yet disgusting. You suck.
This reminds me of a package deal that was given to me one day when I was offered to rent out a mansion on the outskirts of town. It was a big place, really nice bathrooms, and a sweet rec room with leather recliners and a cool antique pool table. The utilities were included with the rent, which was suspiciously reasonable. Then I found out the property was completely surrounded by multiple packs of rabid wolves who have grown a taste for human flesh, but were also considered endangered, so hunting them was a felony. The same goes for a single mother of 3 over the age of 30, except in your case, it's a broken down trailer with a barely functioning toilet in a trailer park that's constantly being raided by law enforcement and being charged 10 grand a month for the privilege. Okay, that's not exactly an apt metaphor because living in a trailer park that smells like flashbang powder comes with less risk. Self-respecting men do not want single mothers. They'll eventually be expected to take on the financial responsibility for those kids and be given zero parenting rights. Why should any man be forced to take care of another man's kids just to be with you? It makes no sense. At least living in a trailer park, there's less likelihood of losing your finances, your dignity, or your self-respect.
That's funny because it's so true.
If a man ever asks you the infamous question, what do you bring to the table? Nothing. Block him and say nothing. Or I would literally say, I bring nothing to the table. It's not your job as a woman to prove yourself as worthy enough for a man. If a man is taking out his time and resources to pursue you, that means he already deemed you as good enough for him. So he knows what value you bring to his life. You don't need to list it out for him.
That does not make sense.
I have to give props where props are due here. This old copper top here has at least openly admitted that she has nothing of value to offer a dude. Most modern women think that their delusional egos are enough. But what makes this interesting is how she thinks bringing nothing to the table is actually bringing something to the table. She sees adding nothing of value to a man's life is inherently bringing value into his life, as if existing is enough. She refuses to understand that even if a man is interested, she still needs to prove to him that she is worth keeping, and it takes more than just an average face and a basic vocabulary to do that. And the irony to all of this is that men are not that complicated. You do not need to bring much. Being kind, trustworthy, and having music tastes that don't revolve around Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande is like 75 to 80% of the qualifications for the majority of self-respecting men. But if you refuse to do anything like that, then why would a man want to deal with you? I'll answer that for you because you seem kind of slow. He wouldn't. There's no point.
Real men don't ask this kind of question because they're not concerned with, oh, what can you do for me? That's a very feminine way of thinking. They're thinking, oh, what can I do for this person to make their lives better? The type of man that would ask this question is really just looking for how little he can do for you in a relationship. Run away from these kinds of men. Not even us as women ask this to men, what do you bring to the table?
And that's an interesting thing about mathematics is when you're 50% right, you're 100% wrong.
You know what, Red? I kind of agree with you. You really don't ask what men bring to the table. You demand that the table be set before you even show up. There is zero room for compromise here. You expect the man to have the money, have his life together, own property, be stylish, take care of his body, and submit to your will while still being a masculine leader. You know what I'm talking about. Those are your pesky non-negotiables, or icks, modern women love to have on their notes app, and it's right next to that roster that's dwindling down by the day. Yes, self-respecting men want to take care of the right woman, but that woman should also want to take care of the man. That's why it's called a relationship and not a partnership. There's a symbiosis to it all, which is why a man expects you to add something onto his life if he's going to do the same for you. But if there's any solace to be had here, it's that every single man that's worth a damn is going to see this video of yours and think one thing.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper!
If you broke up with your ex and now you want to get back together with them, here's what you can do. I'm Coach Pro Certified Relationship Coach. Let's go. First off, if you're too afraid to reach out to your ex because you're scared of rejection, don't be. I've had so many sessions with dumpers and everybody says the same thing. They're afraid that their ex is so much happier without them. But in reality, most exes, they would be more than happy to give their ex a second chance. Most exes would be happy that you're reaching out, even if you've been in no contact with them for months, sometimes over a year, even in some cases if they have rebound relationships. It's important to keep in mind that when you broke up with your ex, you did cause them hurt and pain, so not all exes will respond right away. Some might ignore the message at first because they don't want to get hurt again or get breadcrumbed by you.
What?
Okay, I have to say this. Who in the hell do you think you are, woman? Telling women to do this is irresponsible and incredibly selfish. And this is the kind of stuff that makes men walk away from women in their entirety. You're expecting this man just to get over everything and take it back. But you're not giving any credit to how this man feels. You just expect him to move on from all the pain that you caused. But let's think about this for a second. The only reason why you want him back in the first place is because the man you left him for didn't want you, or he moved on and is happier without you. And if you're not happy, then nobody can be happy. Either way, you are not in control, and you can't stand it when you can't control everything, even though when you are in control, you don't do anything because you're incapable of controlling anything in your life. And whenever you do take control, it causes so much destruction in your wake that it makes me want to take safety lessons from an epileptic stock car driver.
He's like a chimp with a machine gun.
So, the first reach out I always recommend is a simple, hey, how are you to your ex? And if an ex responds, then great, you can keep the conversation going with your ex, make plans to see your ex and keep pursuing and see where things go. If an ex ignores that response, it's okay too. A lot of exes will do so because, as I mentioned, they want to make sure to not get hurt or breadcrumb. So in that case, I would just recommend taking a few weeks and sending a second reach out to your ex, letting your ex know that you've been thinking about them and you'd like to talk to them. By this point, most exes that have an interest will have responded, and it's rare for an ex to not respond because you're making it obvious that it's not a breadcrumbing message. If for some reason you're still ignored at that point, I would just recommend sending a third message minimum a month later or even more, just telling your ex that you're still thinking about them and asking them how they are. And then at that point, the ball would be in your ex's court, and it would be up to your ex to respond. And if they don't, then you can take this as your closure, knowing that you can move on, and hey, who knows, an ex might reach out sometime later on. But as I mentioned earlier, it's very rare to get rejected by an ex that you dumped. Most exes are more than receptive to wanting to at least hear from you.
Are you mental? We broke up. Get the net.
Closure? What the hell is closure? You don't deserve closure. You're the one who dumped him, remember? You have no business contacting him in any capacity, let alone a bunch of messages over the span of a few months. If you feel the need to constantly be sending him messages, that is straight up harassment. You are refusing to leave this guy alone to move on with his life, and that is incredibly screwed up. By contacting him in the first place, you've made it clear to this guy that his peace does not matter. His feelings do not matter. And whatever he's doing to better himself at the time does not matter. And all that matters is your fee-fees and your unquenchable desire to be free of all forms of accountability. And let's say this man does want to take you back for some reason. How do you expect him to respect you? You've already destroyed him once. What makes you think he's ever going to let his guard down with anybody, let alone you? And then to just assume he wants you back is just insulting. At this point, the dust bunnies under his couch would make for better companionship. At least they're not going anywhere and know when to shut up.
And if an ex responds something negative, chances are they're just extremely hurt by what's going on. So just apologize to your ex, hear them out, and give them the space to reach out to you. And if they don't, you can reach out to them a month later, like we discussed before, and you can take it from there. Don't be afraid to reach out to your ex because you have nothing to lose and there's such a low chance of you getting rejected. It's pretty rare for that to happen, and you don't want to live your life with regrets and what ifs. But remember, the longer you maintain no contact with your ex, the more chances your ex has of moving on. So once you make the decision to reach out, just go for it. If you're the dumper or the dumpy and need help with your situation, you can book a private Zoom session with me via the link in my bio. And remember, you're stronger by 2.
You! I will think of you as I throw up into the toilet.
So your advice to women is that if your ex justifiably tells you to go to hell and to leave him alone, then don't take that as a no. In fact, don't take no for an answer. Delude yourself into thinking that man just wants to relive all of the pain that you caused him. Don't allow him to live his own life. Don't allow him any peace. It's like the old saying goes, no means no, but only if the woman says so, which is such a messed up double standard that makes zero sense.
A rule is a rule is a rule unless you're a woman.
Why is it that you're allowed to do this kind of stuff? Because you should be allowed to make mistakes without having to answer for them, but the second a guy breaks your princess fantasy, then he's a toxic narcissist that isn't worth the dirt you kick off your overpriced shoes. You're essentially telling women that the men they left aren't worthy of any form of respect unless they provide you with what you want, including second chances. That men don't deserve the right to deny you after you denied them, which is about par for the course with modern women. After all, the day you take any form of responsibility for your actions is the same day that Satan himself will install an air conditioning at the gates of hell. And that is going to do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button. Ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. We are not here for a long time. We are here for a good time. So let's take a second to laugh at the circus of absurdity and enjoy life for a few minutes, shall we? Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.